equality fit into intersectionality, and why is this important? You are listening to Gender Equality Over Coffee. I'm Timea.
And I'm Ramon. And we invite organizations and role models that strive for a more inclusive world to answer this question.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast, Gender Equality Over Coffee. And oh, am I excited today. You won't believe it, but we got Astrid and Doris from TheNewITGirls finally on the podcast. So welcome, girls. I'm tremendously happy to have you here.
So happy to be here.
Thank you for the invitation.
We were saying in our little prep call before this, I love your coordinated backgrounds. Did you make these in particular for us, or is this something that you've been using before?
Yeah, we are using them basically in all of our The New IT Girls meetups and calls we have. So sorry to say it's not just for you.
I am not hurt. No feelings hurt. I love this
Okay.
so much.
Thank you.
No, this is so cool. Yeah, let's again welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let's kick off right away with why don't you tell us what the New IT Girls is and what its purpose and like drive is?
Yeah. So with the New IT Girls, we like to connect women in the tech industry. We like to show role models, and also we like to empower women to get into technology. So we have women from several different industries, but they are all connected with the IT role or with the digitalization spectrum there. Yeah, Astrid?
Yes, I think how we could describe the New IT Girls, it's really, in the meantime, a team of industry experts who want to empower and support women in the IT across job titles. And that's really important for us. We really want to connect everyone who is interested in IT, working for a company outside of IT, but in the IT department, for example. And with that, also kind of show the huge diversity of possibilities in the IT industry. And maybe what is also important, we are doing this all non-profit, on a non-profit basis. We're completely independent, just working as a registered association, and all of us working voluntarily next to our full-time jobs.
Yes, and with that remark, happy birthday. You've recently got to be 2 years old. I've seen on your social media channels, and doing this for 2 years in parallel to your full-time jobs is absolutely fascinating, and I salute that as a as a volunteer myself. So tell us a bit about your current goals, like what kind of events do you have? How do you involve people? What are your immediate goals? Everything you'd like. We want to know more.
So our current goal is to empower 10,000 women. So we currently reached the 1,000 women goal, and our next goal is 10,000 women till 2025.
Wow.
So we are thankful for everyone who supports us. We do have regular meetups monthly, so you can join our community meetups monthly. And since March, we are doing basically also every 4 to 6 weeks, I would say, more deep dive technical workshops as well. And so, yeah, feel free to join our community by registering on Meetup, on the portal meetup.com, and to come to our events there. and help us to aim our goal with the 10,000 women.
I want to just ask, I have to admit that one thing that I was not quite in the clear is actually your target group. I didn't quite understand from the get-go that it's not only for women developers or engineers, but actually women who have very diverse roles in that happen to work in a tech company, for example, right?
Exactly. And I think this is really super important for us that we connect women across job titles because, for example, I'm coming from a business background. I studied economics, so nothing related to IT at all. And then ended up at an IT company by coincidence. And I'm happy to be there. That's why I stayed for such a long time. But I never felt that I would fit into a network which is focused on technical women, for example. So with the new IT girls, we really wanted to create this safe space and community where people who are working in IT, but maybe even don't necessarily have an IT background, feel welcome and feel comfortable to join without having the feeling that they need to know more or they need to learn more or whatsoever. And also in our meetups, that's why we have two different categories. So the one with our regular meetups is really more about empowering women in general. So it's not necessarily IT focused topics, but it's about for example, female leadership, or we had in April an episode about job applications and what people in an IT company look for when you apply for a job. So it's not necessarily related to any technical content. And on the other hand, we have our technical workshops starting now because we saw that first of all, of course, we do have women who are technical, like also in their daily jobs, or who are interested to learn more. And we started on a very high level because we want to give women the opportunity that even if they're not working in a technical field in their day-to-day job, they can join and they can learn something new for themselves to feel more comfortable in conversations, maybe also with their colleagues then back at work, so that they understand what they are talking about. I don't know, how do I set up a server? I don't, just to say something, because it will come up maybe at the company, and then those women will feel more comfortable because they already heard about it and know what the colleagues are talking about.
Thank you. That one thing that I was that is probably clear from the name, but I still would like to ask, who can join these events? Like, what is it girls or not men specifically?
Basically, everyone can join to identify as a woman, let's say it in that way. But also, we do not say men are not welcome in our meetups. So we say we need alias, so we need men as well to achieve and to empower 10,000 women and more, and to achieve 50-50% balance in the IT industry and so on. So we do need men or everyone with us, but our target basically is or are women especially. So if men are interested in our workshops, they can join, but we also have workshops, they are women only. For example, we have it in the past, I Am Remarkable workshops. This is a collective for we did it for women only because we wanted to give the women the safe space they needed in that case. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I think I mentioned some podcasts ago how important it is to have women-only events and what's the reason behind it. But I also like that you are considering some events opening them up, so you can get in allies, right? So as we were talking the last podcast with Astrid about allyship a lot. So Astrid, you are a business application specialist at Microsoft. Um, you told us in the previous podcast a bit how you ended up in an IT company, from one company to Microsoft. How about Doris? Where are you coming from into IT?
Yeah, it was also an accident. So I was studying multimedia design, was working all the time in agency, and my last job was, before I got into tech, was in a film company. So they produced documentations, and I was working there in the back office, and I really loved the job there, but they couldn't afford the whole team anymore, so they need to shrink down. And I was like, okay, I want to go further in the film industry, and couldn't find a job in Vienna. And so I was thinking about moving to another city, or finding something else. Yeah, and it was, yeah, really an accident. And maybe I wasn't ready to move to another city because my private life held me here. And by an accident, I was sitting in the train, I know, and I saw this ad from a IT company where they said, yeah, you need to know this and that. And I was like, yeah, I can this, but really, is this what I like to do? And I applied. Yeah, and I got the job. And nearly 8 years later, I decided to move on to another company. So I was 8 years there at this first IT tech company, and I learned a lot on the job, and I learned that I really love the IT industry. And this was also one of one of my things why I founded together with Astrid the New IT Girls, because I'm passionate about the IT and technology behind, and I thought, hey, there are so much women out there who are doing, I don't know, things they think they love. So my goal is also to show that IT and technology is just amazing.
But to just to pinpoint, you were not working as a developer.
No, never, no.
Okay.
I am a consultant.
Okay.
So I'm focused on the digitalization part currently, a
I
lot
see.
with modern communication, internal communication, and specialized on Microsoft technology. So this is why I know Astrid, and yeah.
That's what I wanted to get at. So you're
Yeah,
actually both identifying with your target groups, and it just happened to be women in digitalization,
yeah,
working in IT companies. And now it's
yeah,
obviously growing beyond that. But I see now completely where
right.
you're coming from, also from the professional side. Thank you.
And I think one important point that Doris mentioned is also one of our goals with the new IT girls, to show what a job in IT can actually look like. And like you said to Mia, we're not just focusing on one specific target group, but we really want to empower as many women as possible to show them that a career in IT could be a potential next step for them if they want to. Because I think still, unfortunately, the image of IT is yeah, very nerdy, let's put it that way, and male dominated and so on. And with the new IT girls, we actually want to switch a bit from this narrative to a narrative where we show that there are already a lot of amazing women working in IT every day, and you're not alone if you're joining the IT, but there is a network of now over 1,000 women with whom you can connect, who have maybe experienced the same situations like you do now, where you can simply go and say, okay, you know what, this happened to me. And there will be someone who will say, don't worry, I feel you, I've been there, it's okay. And I think that's, yeah, if if women realize all the advantages also for themselves of working in IT when it comes to more flexible working hours, maybe higher wages, like in typical female jobs, and so on. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, a newspaper in Austria published an article saying, I think there are 10 or 20,000 IT jobs missing in Austria alone. So it's a huge potential market where people will be needed also over the next couple of years. So it's quite secure industry as well for women to find a job. And I think if we are all working on promoting this narrative and not the one that there are too little women in IT, then it will also do something with society, and it will actually change. Especially women will feel more attracted to IT as well.
I really love this sense of camaraderie that you put on the forefront of it. I think it's so critical for helping people to empower each other. Something else that the new IT Girls does that has me really excited is this platform for public speakers. I'd love to hear a little bit more about this because whenever so full context for our listeners, I love public speaking. I go to a lot of conferences. I speak at a lot of conferences. And whenever I get invited to a conference and I see that the lineup is very undiverse, mostly white men, I try to go like, hey, I try to give I like to err on the side of giving the benefit of the doubt and giving the organizers an opportunity to tell me why their lineup is so undiverse. And usually it's not great, but I still stick to my guns and give them that benefit of the doubt. And I always try to recommend them platforms. There's one from Berlin that I've always loved called speakerinnen.org. That has a great lineup of speakers. But now this one in Vienna, I'm so excited about this. Could you please tell us more about this and what was what's that about and how it's going?
Okay, Doris, do you want to, or should I? So the reason behind this was we realized exactly the same thing that you just said, Ramon, that especially when it comes to public speaking events and so on, it's still a lot male participants at panel discussions and so on. And we thought maybe if we give women a safe environment where they can learn or try themselves out on public speaking, it would be easier for them to then say yes if they get the opportunity to speak at a bigger event. So our meetups are structured that way that we're always looking for women of our community who can nominate herself to be a speaker at one of our events. So the inputs that we have in our introductory talks are always from a woman out of our community who can share her expertise, her knowledge, her experience with the others, because we are convinced that there is so much expertise already in our community, so we don't necessarily need external speakers because we all know something that others don't know and they can learn from, or we can get different perspective on something we already know maybe from others. So in our meetups, you have the opportunity to talk for 20 to 40 minutes approximately about a topic that you're passionate about, that you're an expert in, and still you know that it's kind of a safe environment because nothing really will happen. It's mostly women who will listen to you, women who are part of the new IT Girls who are there because they also want to empower other women. So yeah, it's a safe space where you can try yourself out and learn how to public speak. And then hopefully next time someone will say, oh, we are looking for a speaker for this event, you will be the one who say, I can do that. So that was the idea behind.
Absolutely. That sounds great. And it's a really good start of how to empower women and how to reach your goal of 10,000 women by 2025. So I want to work with you on that goal, if in any way we can. And I think clarifying basically your target audience, what it is about, that yes, it is a safe space and there are only women that want to help each other. I think that's important to get out there, to reach the goal together. So how about the future of the new IT girls? We saw you at meetups. I saw you a lot in a lot of other events where you talk about the vision and the mission that you have. Great, again, great PRing. What else do you have cooking? Do you think about the future of the new IT girls? And how many are you in the organization, actually, like organizers? That I would also like to know.
Yeah, I think that's the point where we needed to start here, regarding the future. What we've learned from the past. Astrid and I are a great team together, but we can't achieve this goal alone. So we are growing, the organization team and the board is growing. So we are currently 4 women who are doing all this and make the events, all the communication part behind all the social media stuff possible. So we do have one woman she's our communication expert. So we do have someone in our team who's specialized on PR. She's working in the IT industry, but as a PR person. And very new on board, we do have our 4th member. She's specialized in IT and education topics. So the educational part within the new IT girls will one of our future topics. So we are currently working behind the scenes on how can we educate women and girls so that they go into tech, that they see that technology is the technology industry is worth a try. And yeah, we are working behind all this currently, and I'm very excited about this because I think it's gonna be huge. I don't like to communicate something in detail, and I don't like to name when we will go out with maybe an educational program or something like this, because it's very new, but there will be something regarding education.
That's awesome. I would also like, if I may, to also look at the past of the new IT girls. Given that you've been at this for 2 years, I would love to inspire a listener perhaps who's thinking about starting up their own organization. What are some of the hurdles that you face? What are some of the things that if you could go back again and do them all over again, if any, that you would do over again? Sorry, I phrased that badly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Doris and I were discussing this lately, and one thing that we realized is what we would do differently or earlier is to have a clearly defined external version of our mission and vision, because at the beginning it was so cool to see, because Joyce and I, we know each other from professional background, and when we decided to found the new IT girls together, we always had the same vision and mission in mind without even saying it. So it was kind of an unspoken vision and mission, but this made it hard to clearly communicate to the outside, like what we want to achieve, who we are, and so on. So I think looking back, we could have done that earlier to formulate this external vision and mission. And maybe something else that comes to my mind is the community involvement. So we realized that the speaking slots, they work quite well, so that people and women nominate themselves for being a speaker. Although we had to learn that, and this is again something that you have to know and have to get used to. Many times women feel more comfortable if you ask them directly, whilst just posting, if anyone is interested in becoming a speaker, then you can nominate yourself there. Then usually only very few did it. But if you're talking to women directly and say, hey, I think you could talk about this and this topic, wouldn't you be interested? In most cases, they say yes. So this is also something that we learned. And now I think also having clear roles and responsibilities, with Doris, for example, being responsible for getting our new speakers, this works a lot better, because you can directly go to a person and say, I saw that you are an expert in this and this topic. Would you be interested in becoming a speaker? Yeah, these are two learnings from my side. Doris, anything I missed?
No, I don't think so. So for us, it was very important, especially when first there was Astrid and me, and it was unspoken who was responsible for the topic. So this was very amazing. We just had, I don't know, every 2 to 3 weeks, a short call. So yeah, everything was up and running. And then we had last year in summer our onboarding dinner. It was really a dinner in a restaurant, so it was possible at that time. And we met the others, and it was like afterwards, yeah, I think we need a weekly call now. And who is responsible for what, and who will do what, because first, yeah, we have those topics and the things to do, and nothing happened. Because somehow everyone thought the other person will do the things. And then, yeah, clear roles and responsibilities was our outcome of last year, let's say, when we onboarded the others.
And I think it was also interesting to see, because it's like with an actual startup or a team that over time you realize that the more people you are, the easier it is to distribute tasks, but also the harder it is to keep everyone on the same page at all times, because you understand something in a specific way, but maybe the other person understood it differently. So like Doris said, we now have weekly calls. And we thought at the beginning, okay, we'll do them weekly, and then if we don't need them, we will do them bi-weekly. We always need them, and we always need the time to discuss and align on how we see things, how we want to do the next steps, and so on. So yeah, it was a really good learning. And one more thing that came to my mind, this would actually be also interesting, especially with your podcast series as well, is community engagement. So we realized that during our meetups, the exchange is quite vivid, and people are speaking up, asking questions, and so on. But then during times of the two meetups in our LinkedIn group, we actually wanted to have people use this space to share interesting articles, things they came across, events they found interesting or would like to join, and so on. But this is still something that we are working on, and we didn't really find a good way of having an even stronger community involvement there.
Oh, if not that we unlocked this part, not at all. It's been on my mind as well, with the engagement and the art of engaging a community. So if you learn some stuff, come back on the podcast and tell us. We would really like to know how to as well. Very interesting points. I have to, I remember, we kind of did the same mistakes more or less. And at the same time, it shows you're growing. It shows that there is momentum, right? And yeah, okay, you need a bit more structure. You need weekly meetings. You need responsibilities. And I think it's all normal. And I want to make sure that you are motivated, keep at it. So it's great to hear that you're growing. on another note, are you looking for any more volunteers in any way? Or are you looking for sponsorship? How about that angle?
So yes and no. Of course, we are happy if we have more volunteers on board. But as mentioned before, we are currently again in a situation where we are defining our next goals or our the next steps for a broader vision. And honestly, as long as those are not clear, I think we should not grow too fast, because otherwise we can't handle all the people and so on. So if you are interested and like to support us, write us an email or contact us via LinkedIn. We will come back as soon as we have found again our stable table there, and then we will onboard the next wave of volunteers again. So yes, we are open for new volunteers here. And regarding sponsorships, always, of course, we are, as mentioned before, we are all working here in our free time. We do have costs, we do have our bills to pay. And so yes, if a company likes to support us, then also contact us, and we will find a way that works for us all together.
And I think maybe to add one point, even though we're not looking for volunteers to join our team at the moment, there are, of course, a lot of things that you could do if you want to support us and you think that you can relate to the vision and mission of the New IT Girls. So, for example, follow us on all the social media channels, promote our page, share and join our meetup group, share our meetups, come to our meetups, be an active participant. You can become a speaker in the meantime.
Nominate speakers.
Nominate speakers, and of course, also use our hashtag, so hashtag the New IT Girls, because this helps us to find your content, and so we can even better strengthen and empower each other. So the idea is really that whenever you're posting something that you think this could be relevant for other women in IT, use the hashtag the New IT Girls, and then we find the content via the hashtag and can like it, share it, promote it for you as well.
And you are on Instagram that I follow. Very vivid and colorful posts. I love that. You are on LinkedIn, you mentioned you have a group.
Exactly.
How about other channels?
Yeah, so Instagram, we are on Twitter as well.
Twitter, okay.
Starting there. And we have a LinkedIn group where you can join. So this is a group where you can only access once you got accepted. So we know who the members are, and it should really be a place where you can exchange with each other. And we also have a LinkedIn page, like a company page, which you can follow as well and share. And yeah, of course, also connect with us. So would be happy. Yes.
One question I get from time to time from people in companies is like, can I promote my job ad, for free, or is there a group where I can post it? Is the LinkedIn group, for example, a place where people, let's say an HR working in an IT company has a job opening, are they allowed to do that? To post the job?
Yes, they are, but it is a closed group, so it is not possible for anyone in an HR company to go into a group and post it. So first of all, you need to be a member of that group. You need to introduce yourself. Who are you? Why are you here? And so on. And then, yes, you can post it if it is a job regarding IT. Currently, this is how it goes. But most of the time, all the HR persons write beforehand, someone of the board, so Astrid, me, or to the others, is it okay if I post it, or can you post it for us? And then we say you can do it on your own if you like, more authentic and so on, or if it is better we should do it, then we do it if we think that's is fine with our community. Yeah.
I love what you. Sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The reason why I was laughing and why we kept still for a second is because we discussed this topic, and we didn't want to the group to become just a room where everyone posts job postings and there is no other interaction at all. So I think the way that most people do it, that they write us before and ask whether it's okay, is really good. So that keeps at a amount where it's also consumable for the IT girls, because you cannot assume that they're checking the group every single day maybe, and if they then come to the group and just find thousands of job postings, that's also not the intent of the group. But of course, finding and posting job offers is something which also is part of empowering others, and we want to have more women in IT. So if people have interesting job offers, then of course this is also a great opportunity to promote it to a target group that is 90% just women.
Thank you for clarifying that. I think this is probably on the topic of how to engage the community, and well, people that have job openings are supposedly also part of the community, and maybe a way to engage them. Okay, but I see that you're working on it. You're thinking about different angles. You have to strategize, see what makes sense to grow the community, in what direction makes absolute sense for me. Yeah, we'll just try to support you on the way. Channel speakers towards your platform, that would be nice. And I also want to give a shout out to companies. If you're looking for women in IT in different roles, well, Astrid and Doris, I think, are a very good place to start looking, basically, and support the community.
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful and inspiring. I love. Sorry, I know this was a few phrases ago, but I really got stuck on how down to earth it is that you keep your expectations level, and say, too many organizers, too many volunteers does at some point become difficult to manage. And I think that's really, really important towards keeping a good, stable organization. That said, is it possible for me, and when I say me, I mean someone who's interested, to perhaps contribute in the form of, say, offering a presentation to give, or maybe a workshop to give at a meetup? Actually, out of curiosity, how big is that backlog?
I guess that's my part to say. Let's say it in that way. 2021 is nearly done, so
Wow.
so I think I can fill up the next year, but I didn't start with the next year. I need to plan the last 2 sessions, so December and November, but the rest is done. But yeah, don't hesitate to give us your presentation, your thoughts, your sessions lineup there, because we, as I mentioned before, we are currently starting a second slot there, the technical slot, for example, and we are also planning new stuff in the education section. So maybe if it don't fit into the regular streams, so maybe it fits in the future streams, in the future technical streams. So just give us your ideas.
That's amazing. First off, congratulations. Having a demand like that must be incredible. That is a job very well done. So I realize we've had you on. We've been taking up a lot of your time. We're so thankful that you've come on today. There's one question that I would be remiss if I didn't ask, and that is for a listener of ours who's perhaps thinking about, starting up their own organization. What's the number one piece of advice you would give them? Like, before you start, think about this, or something like that, if any.
I think for me it would be clear on your goal and your mission. So know where you want to go, because this also helps you along the way to know which path you should take. And as Doris said, we're currently evaluating a lot of things, and we also learned during the last 2 years to say no to specific things, not because we're not interested, but maybe because it doesn't 100% fit the way we want to go. Doesn't mean that it's bad or anything, but we're just in the meantime 4 human beings. We all have a full-time job, so I think it's super important to know where you want to head, and then also feel comfortable enough to say no to things where you think that it will not 100% contribute to that goal.
Learning to say no. Very powerful.
And hard
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes,
Hard and
that
hard,
is,
yes.
it is. Yes, it is very hard. I think the first things what we also did is do a quick research if there is an organization outside in your region or with the same goal with whom you can connect, even if it is just for an exchange. So we did it also before we registered the new IT Girls, before we had our first event. We had talks with other organizations, for example, with Barbara Ondryszek from Women in Code and so on. And we talked about what have they done, what can we do to make the new IT Girls work for not only us, but also for the women out there. So talk to others.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you. Okay, well, I think we're slowly ramping down. Thank you once again. If um if I wanted to check out the new IT Girls, if I wanted to get in touch with all of you, what are the best ways that you would recommend for doing so? Let's go in alphabetical order.
You can reach out to us on LinkedIn, connect with us directly, like our page, and join our group. Feel free to join our next meetups. As Doris said, we have them once a month at least. So we hope that there will be a time that suits you well. At the moment, they're all virtually, so all you have to do is connect to Microsoft Teams, and that's it, which makes it easier for some, although we are definitely missing seeing everyone in the community face to face, but I think everyone feels that way. And then follow us on social media, and especially use the hashtag TheNewITGirls, because with the hashtag, our intention is that when women are looking for IT girls and expect maybe makeup tutorials and I don't know, fashion content, they will actually find amazing women working in IT and maybe be inspired to follow a career in IT. So the more we use the hashtag New IT Girl, the more women we can inspire together.
I love that. Thank you. Doris, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
No, I think that was everything where you can. Oh, you can also contact us via mail, old school mail, also possible. info@thenewitgirls.com. So if you like, then you will reach all of us at once.
Perfect. We'll make sure to put
Perfect.
all of that in the show notes, and
Perfect.
and
And
hopefully
we're going to tag this with the hashtag the new IT girls. Great. Thank you very much. I super enjoyed our time, and I really enjoyed getting to know what you stand for as individuals and for the community. And yeah, I hope to see you thrive, have a great success, launching your education track, if that's what is in the stars for the new IT girls. And please don't hesitate to ask for help from time to time, and make sure you four amazing humans there don't burn out on us, and just keep going.
it has
Thank
been
you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure as always to have you on, and hopefully soon again. I would love to get maybe a follow-up in a few months' time if you all have time, to see what's changed, what's worked, what could be done better, all of that. I think it's this is exciting times, and we're so happy that you were on today. So I just want to say thank you everybody for listening, and Doris and Astrid for coming on, and Timea as always for being the best host in the world. Folks,
Likewise.
have a wonderful day, and thanks for listening. See you next time.
Bye.
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 Are you on the forefront of gender equality? You are invited to our podcast.
That's right. Or maybe you know somebody that we can have a chat with. We'd love to have you on.
Subscribe to us on YouTube not to miss an episode, and also follow us on Twitter @GenderCoffee and on your favorite podcatcher.
And hey, if you like what you're listening to, please throw us a review or give us a like. Thank you.